Now, with South Africa hosting world leaders at the G20 Summit this week, it's time to look at what this country's got to offer to the rest of the globe. Defense company Milkor continues to push the envelope in defense and aerospace technology. Border protection, crime prevention, those continue to be important considerations. Their products include the 380 UAV, the largest drone ever built in South Africa. For more on this, we're joined by Daniel du Plessis. He's Milkor's Marketing and Communications Director. Daniel, a very good morning to you. It's very interesting that it's at this time that we see all of the innovation that we've all been suspecting exists in South Africa, and it's just before the G20. Well done to you all and congratulations. What sets the Milkor 380 apart in an increasingly competitive UAV market, though?
Thank you, Kendall. Thank you for having me on. I think having these things showcased on a global stage at an event or a gathering like the G20 is an enormous privilege and something that I think all South African companies should partake in as well. Now, for the defense and aerospace industries, this is no exception. It essentially allows us to showcase the technologies that still reside within South Africa and on a global stage. And I think, as you rightly mentioned, the suspicion of these technologies still existing has been predominantly seen across the country. A lot of people have the inclination that the defense industry is not alive and well. Well, I can tell you by working in it, there's many different innovations that have come from this country that are still world leading and still sought after by many global leaders when it comes to conflict resolution and addressing security concerns. The Milkor 380 being one of them, is the largest UAV, as you mentioned, to be produced on South Africa and also on the African continent. It is an enormous platform capable of flying 30 hours continuously, 4,000 kilometers, and it can actually combat and address quite a lot of concerns, not just on South African soil, on the continent as a whole, and also in a larger scale on the global scene.
You know, Daniel, one of the things that I'm going to be checking in with you is that for most people, drones, for the man or woman in the street, drones are tiny things. We're talking about something that's almost 20 meters in wingspan in terms of the Milkor 380 UAV. What difference does it make on the size, the small one versus the large one as you have created as Milkor?
I correctly mentioned, I think the term drone have been commercially quite popularized in terms of photography and geospatial information gathering and mapping and things like that, where UAVs and essentially a drone of this size is categorized as an unmanned aerial vehicle or a medium altitude, long endurance UAV. So specifically all the technical terms thrown out there. What it essentially means is at this scale of nearly 18.6 meters in wingspan, a maximum takeoff weight of 1,500 kilogram, it can carry a substantial amount of payloads, including electronic sensors for information gathering, surveillance, and reconnaissance applications, and that is what sets it apart. This UAV is designed for long endurance, meaning it has to fly continuously for long periods of time, and it also has to fly at medium altitude, so anything in the range from between 15 to 30,000 feet.
Now, as we're looking at these pictures that our viewers are seeing as well, these engineers, they look South African. These are South African engineers, right?
Correct. So our company, and we're quite proud of this fact, is showcasing that the skills remaining in South Africa are substantial. So we have almost 500 employees working specifically in this division on screen now. They include engineers, hardware engineers, software engineers, aircraft maintenance engineers, and a lot of artisans as well, which are highly skilled in electronic integration and manufacturing. And all of them are South African, all of them based in Cape Town. We are extremely proud of the fact that we have taken a lot of the skills that remained from the 1980s in drone development, and then also imported and implanted it into a younger generation of new engineers up and coming, recruiting them from top universities in South Africa. It was a huge effort to build this team, but we're extremely proud of them, and they've been doing an exceptional job in showcasing South African innovation.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and it's really good news to be hearing that. Now, can you share with us where the operational demand is strongest? Is it border protection, maritime surveillance, or even intelligence gathering? Where is it in your mind?
It's actually all three. I think you've hit the nail on the head. But border surveillance and border management, addressing border concerns. If you look at South Africa, for example, we have an up-and-coming border management authority conference on Wednesday. And we will be addressing a lot of the land and maritime border applications and security challenges thereof. So South Africa, for example, has more than 4,000 kilometers of land border, more than almost 3,000 kilometers of maritime border as well. This is a huge task to monitor and control if you're just doing it on foot or on the ocean. By using UAV technologies, you can actually leverage the advantage of continuous flight. You can add to that some electronic developments in terms of pattern recognition and AI advancements in object detection, and therefore cover a larger ground. Now, the same also goes across the whole continent for peacekeeping operations, intelligence gathering operations. It's predominantly designed for military use, so either doing intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance for a military operation, whether it's counterinsurgency operation, close air support, relay communications.
Yep.
But it also has quite a few civilian applications. And I think this is why an event like the G20 is quite an important thing, to allow us to also showcase this to governments that have to strengthen their sovereignty and address their security challenges, but also look at further applications on the civilian side. For example, forest fire detection, early warning fire detection as well. This is a tremendous asset that can be used using the sensors for that as well.
Daniel, we're running out of time. And in closing, in a minute or less, can you tell us a little bit about the take-up? Because I know you've got Hanwha Systems, the Korean Hanwha Systems, that's also partnered with yourselves. But what's the take-up like, at least in the domestic market? What is it looking like for the future of Milkor, and whether the South African system will be using it or not?
So globally, our order book is growing considerably, and we have a few orders that we'll start delivering by the end of this year. Continuing into next year, I think the order book is substantially growing as we speak, predominantly from the continent itself and some global players as well. As you mentioned, we've partnered with quite a few significant other countries that are leading in terms of sensor development and technologies. And both for the local market, I think there are various entities that are quite interested in acquiring these systems and then also using them for their different challenges as well. So we're looking forward to that.
No, fantastic. I completely understand why it is. When you say local entities, it could be a broad swathe of different interests coming that way. Congratulations to Milkor for that. That's Daniel du Plessis, the Marketing and Communications Director at Milkor, telling us that South African-bred innovation and engineering is still very well and live. Now it's a